Ladies and gentlemen, boy, do I have something for you. Let's get into it. Psalms 55, verse 9 says, "For I have seen violence and strife in the city, day and night. They go about it upon the walls thereof. Mischief also and sorrow are in the midst of it. Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Deceit and guile do not depart from her streets. For it was not an enemy that reproached me, that I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. But it was you, a man my equal, my guide, my acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together and walked unto the house of God in company. Let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell, for wickedness is in their dwellings, and among them. As for me, I will call upon the Lord, and the Lord shall save me. Evening, morning, and noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice." It's one thing when you have an enemy, someone who's against you. Like in the case of the DCEU, we have the detractors out there. It's another thing when you think you have a comrade with you who's riding with you, and then they betray you and they try to seek to destroy you, which is the case with Justice League, a DCEU film, where literally people who claim themselves to be DCEU fans look for its demise and try to destroy it because they feel, based on rumors, that it is not the movie it was supposed to be, even though it's a damn good movie and they enjoyed it. And they got theirs coming for them. It's going to come to them because what goes around comes around. You do not sow seeds of hate and discord and reap seeds of camaraderie and unison. It doesn't work like that. They got theirs coming. One of the lies and rumors circulating about Justice League is that Joss Whedon was responsible for some of the scenes with the Russian family. Not only that, but they say he was also responsible for Superman carrying the Russian building across. It was Whedon who did that weird reshoot. They called it reshoots. That was part of his reshoots. And I want to show you that this is a lie. So let's get into it. Bajornov was the fictitious place that Cyborg referred to, a Russian place near a nuclear plant where people settled down. But Bajornov was actually based on an actual city in Latvia, an abandoned military complex known as Skrunda in Latvia. You're seeing Skrunda in Latvia here. This is the actual settlement. This was back in 2015. And Skrunda was actually visited by the cast and crew that were filming Justice League. This is Skrunda here, and if you look here, you can see this landmark, this tower landmark that you might be very familiar with, which you saw in the Justice League movie, which is here. You see the tower here, and it's collapsing. All right, let me zoom out a little bit. Just a little bit so you can see everything. So this is a scene from Justice League. Here you see the buildings, and you see that they are very similar, and the tower here collapsing. Of course, there's CG involved in this, of course. But here is the actual settlement here, Skrunda, and it's abandoned, so therefore no one lives there right now. And this is the fictitious city known as Bajornov that they talk about in Justice League. Okay, you can see the houses and how they're built, and I'll give you some more in-depth looks at this place in a minute. But here it is, and it's basically the city is modeled off of that, and also, even though they use a lot of CGI here to basically augment it, the basic structure here is based on a real city, Skrunda. Okay, this is Skrunda in 2015, and then they went and they actually built up certain areas of it in 2017 and 2016 for the Justice League movie. Okay, so there are a lot of firsts. One, as we said, was Bangkok, Thailand, which for the first time was featured in a movie. And we also had Latvia, Skrunda, Latvia, which was featured for the first time in a movie. And the actual building where the family was at was actually situated in Skrunda, Latvia. Here we have the actual place, Skrunda, Latvia, and here is the actual building here next to a big towering building. This is a flat next to a big towering building. This is a literal place in Skrunda, Latvia. This was actually literally filmed there. Let me zoom in so you guys can have a better look at it. So there you go. So in the square blocks here, you can see the house that they actually filmed in. This is the house right there. Okay, Skrunda, Latvia. And there's actually a nuclear silo somewhere around here. I think you might be seeing it back there. But this is the actual building here. This is an actual building. This is not CGI'd or anything. This is an actual building, okay? In Skrunda, Latvia. They actually did filming. You can go in IMDb if you want to and check out, cross-reference what I say. They actually went to Skrunda, Latvia to shoot, okay? Okay, so I'm going to show you some more evidence of what I'm talking about, and that it's not reshoots by Whedon. Here's the same house here in Skrunda, Latvia. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see again the details here. This may be zoomed in a little too much. Let me zoom back out a little bit. Okay, so when I zoom out a little bit, you see the house here in Skrunda, Latvia. All right, this was the house with the family. That's that little square flat here, which you see also down below here. Okay. And of course, in 2005, it was abandoned, so the abandoned home would look a little bit different. But this is it. They refurbish it here. All right, and this is actually in Latvia, and this is the Latvian family, which is why they don't speak English. And you can see outside, they literally filmed this on the inside. They refurbished the inside of the house. This is what the abandoned house looked like in 2015. You see there's a bed. If you notice, everything is there. So you got the beds here. This is kind of the room-like place. You got a sink here. They've got the kitchen right there. They got the living room right there. It's kind of in little segments, and actually, that's how a Scandinavian Latvian home is. And look at the windows. The windows are interesting. So when we look at the room here below, if you look at it, you see the doorway there. You see the room with the bed. It's very much a similar bed. There are two beds here, actually. There's another bed here. All right. And the windows of a Latvian home is very interesting because the windows, I guess you'll have to see from the outside here. Let me show you the windows. You can see the windows are the similar kind of windows here that you saw inside of the home, which I'm going to show you right now. See? Okay? And also, it's a little bit of a close-up. You can see the little girl's on a bed. There's like not a bunch of chairs. So this is like the kitchen area, which is like the living room area. And you got the bed. It's very, very makeshift. Okay? So that's a makeshift home. And that's actually in Latvia they shot this stuff. Okay? This is all part of Zack Snyder's stuff. This is not Josh Whedon did this. This is Zack Snyder did this. Okay? Which is why we have parademons all over the place, which is the CG part of it. Okay? There are different CG things here, and you see somebody in a makeshift home here as well. So it's basically people living on the edge of nowhere, which is Latvia is kind of an empty place. You see the silo right there. These are actual places, the actual things that they used. Now, finally, someone was saying, you know, it was Whedon who did this, or Superman's carrying this building, and I can tell you for a fact that's not Whedon. That's, again, Zack Snyder. But more importantly, you can see here that Superman's carrying a building that's very much like the Latvian buildings here. Very, very similar. So that's the more important thing. That this is actually taken from a Latvian model. Now, why I say this is Zack Snyder did this and not Josh Whedon, there's two major reasons. The first one is the CGI on Superman's face is not obvious. His face looks pretty normal. So it's either Whedon's people, the people who were doing the CGI for Whedon, for Superman's face suddenly got really, really good at it, or it's that Zack Snyder directed that. The other part is that if we look at all the way down to the end of the movie, where Lois Lane is narrating and Superman tears open his shirt and flies up into the sky, that's classical Superman. That's not Whedon that did that. That's again Zack Snyder. And how we can tell this is obvious because Henry Cavill's face is Henry Cavill's face. You can tell when Whedon did a reshoot because the CGI is not that good. Okay, it's just not that good. It's not on par with the CGI for the rest of the movie. And you can tell when Whedon did reshoot parts because the face of Henry Cavill doesn't look quite like his face. So the fact that Zack Snyder, as Deborah Snyder was saying, they were leading to the characters you know and recognize, and the fact that Zack Snyder debuted this movie on the same date that Justice League 2001 debuted, tell me he was striving for a Justice League animated movie kind of feel, to get back to the roots of Superman. And so it's not surprising that he would give a callback to the original Superman movie, which is probably why Danny Elfman played the original 1978 Superman theme so much. A callback to the original Superman because he began to realize, okay, from looking at the visuals, okay, Zack's calling back to the original Superman here. He's coming now to what Superman really is. So he decided to do that score. I think, though, that Zack and Junkie XL, they were going to do a more of a... I don't know what Junkie XL was actually going to do. He might have actually used some of the John Williams score in his music as well. You know, but just Danny Elfman did it almost pure John Williams score. So it could have been that. I don't know what Junkie XL had up his sleeve. We know he was going to call back to Hans Zimmer's Man of Steel, but we just never know. Junkie might have pulled a Hans Zimmer or something. I don't know. We have to speculate on that one. But for this, my evidence is in twofold. One, the CGI of Superman was just way too good to be Joss Whedon doing a touch-up. And the other thing that's very important, I mean, if you look at Superman racing the Flash at the end in post-credit scene, his face don't look good. Okay, his face look like these little spots of mustache on him still. You know, like he's not fully shaved himself and stuff. They couldn't get the CGI right. But if you look at the CGI when he's racing the Flash, when he comes up on the Flash and he's racing him while they are going to help to save people, his face looks pretty fine. When he's fighting Steppenwolf, he looks great. Okay, when he's blowing that cold breeze from his mouth, he looks weird, okay? So you can tell where Whedon put his input in, and you can tell where Zack Snyder put his input in. Even when he's talking to Batman, and he's saying, well, I don't, I knew you didn't like me. I know you called me back because you didn't like me. That part right there, his CGI looks on point. And I'm telling you, man, the touch-up that Whedon did, they're not so on point. I mean, they're good, but they're not that great. Not like that. So I have a feeling that all of those things are Zack. And of course, when he's laughing in the end, that's clearly Zack. There's no CGI there at all. So I'm just saying to you guys that you have to look at where there is actually CGI on his lip, and that helps you to understand. If not, of course, this would probably be CGI all the way, with Superman's flying with the building. But nonetheless, I don't think that's Whedon. Okay, I think that's Zack. And the reason why I think it's Zack, and I'm pretty sure it is Zack, is because Zack is calling back to the original values and strength and abilities that Superman had. And so it makes sense that you're going to love Superman because that's what Zack was going for. All right? Now, the other things people were criticizing this for is saying that, well, the building's holding its integrity. How could Superman be carrying this building? Why is it not crumbling and falling apart? Well, it all goes back to Superman's bioelectric aura. If you do remember, when Superman's about to get up to fly into the air in Man of Steel, you see the dust start to circle and rise. In fact, at the end of BVS, the dust starts to rise over his coffin and levitate off the ground. Superman's bioelectric aura is not limited to his body. And so the integrity of this building is held together because Superman's bioelectric aura. A building's not supposed to levitate off the ground. Superman's not supposed to levitate off the ground. So it is his electromagnetic field, which is, he's literally anything he touches, it stays in his bioelectric field. It's kind of like the Flash pushing a car. In normal physics, you push a car that fast, you push all the way through the car and the car crumbles. But again, the Flash, because he's in a different time zone with the Speed Force, he's able to push this car through a different time zone because the car is connected to him. And so the car doesn't crumble, the wheels don't break off, and all of that. Car doesn't just blow up or mash up into a million pieces, and the Flash just flies through the car. You understand? So it has to do with if Superman picks up something, because he levitates up in the air, the thing will also levitate up in the air. He rips everything off the ground. Everything solidly goes up with him. Okay? So that's the explanation for that. So for those of you who don't know, I mean, I'm trying to think of an instance where Superman actually held something. I know we have it in the comic books, but I'm talking about in movie form that I would explain this again. So it's his bioelectric aura. It has to do with Superman. Because it's a mental thing, he controls his bioelectric aura, he can also lift things and they stay whole because of that. And so that's the simple explanation to that. Anyway, I believe that all of that is Zack Snyder. The majority of this film is Zack Snyder, okay? We did a couple reshoots and that's really cool. But for the most part, this is a Zack Snyder film. I've been telling you guys this. Ben Affleck has told you guys this. Charles Roven has told you guys this. You guys need to listen to what these people are saying. And the fact that all of these people tell you these things and you disregard them, oh, they're not telling the truth. And how much facts and how much information do you need to realize that this is a Zack Snyder film? Not saying it's 100% Zack Snyder film. Obviously it's not, because obviously Whedon did something in it. But the things that some of you guys claim Whedon did, he didn't do. And you're actually slamming Zack for doing what Zack does, which is so sad. All right? And other things you're giving Zack credit for and using, like I saw a guy, he put out a video, which is erroneous as hell, but he's saying that there's a Zack Snyder cut out there. And he actually gives fallacious information where you see a WB sign and people are sitting in a conference room, or there's an empty conference room with a WB sign as if that say that the cut is playing. And we know he did a what do you call that? You Photoshop it. He photoshopped it. We know that. Why you gotta do that? Why you gotta lie? Stop lying. Like, tell the truth. Why you got to tell a lie? The fact that you have to tell a lie means you don't have sufficient truthful information to make your point. Then he goes erroneously. He looks at a post on Twitter that is talking about the wrap up of principal photography, where it says we got this all locked down or locked in. And he's saying that's because they got a cut of the film locked in. And it's not true. He's like, you guys need to be honest, man. Out here, y'all just full of lies, man. And that's the thing that gets me. If you got to make a point, make your point. But don't lie. Don't lie. Because it's going to come back to bite you in the butt. Understand what I'm saying? Anywho, people. The cut that's in the theater is a Snyder cut. I'm not saying it's 100% Zack Snyder. Obviously not. But it is mostly Zack Snyder. It is 85 to 95% Zack Snyder. That's how much it is. Okay? And y'all guys need to grow up. Y'all guys need to... There's just too much information out there. And I have to be debunking a lot of really fickle things. But because people have so much hate in their hearts, they're glad to feed anything that feeds that narrative. But the narrative is false. Alright? Now, if you want a pure Zack Snyder directed cut from beginning to end, say so. Man, I would just love to see Zack's cut from beginning to end with his certain effects that he usually puts in. You know, some people talking about the color palette. Look, man, the color palette was going to be this anyway. It wasn't going to be as extreme as this was. It was going to be a little bit more richer tones and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this was going to be the color palette of the movie. It was going to be what it is. Because, as people said, some people said the special effects team was working on this. Alright? Yes, there was a directive for it to be lighter, because when Zack brought it in, it was like, you still need to be a little bit more lighter than you are. Okay? Alright, so it is what it is. But at the end of the day, this was the color palette it was going to be. You saw it in the sneak peek trailer. What they were going for. And there were many different environments. We had Atlantis environment. We had Gotham environment. We had Metropolis environment. We had the Amazonian environment. We had this post-apocalyptic environment in Russia. All right, we had all these different environments. We had Kansas environment, which was kind of country. All right. You had the underground environment. So you had all these different color palettes and different tones, kind of like with Wonder Woman. So this is what was coming. Yes, some of it didn't feel as gritty or as real world and felt more fantastical. I agree. But the point is they were dealing with many different things. And yes, they're still trying to keep that Snyderism palette there. But they were trying to do many different things in this movie. This movie went to many different places. It went all the way back in time to Legend, the First Great War, which looked fantastic. There's just so much in this movie that was fantastic. Oh my God, I can't talk about this movie without getting overwhelmed, because there's just so much to say about this movie, right? From content to the epic scenes to the small sort of dramatic moments with Clark and his mother, with Clark and Lewis, the intimate moments. It was all kinds of things going on in this movie. It just makes it fantastic. It's a fantastic cities and places in the world that never got recognition by Hollywood got recognition. We had Indonesia. That's why the Indonesians love it so much. We had Latvia, which was a state of Russia at a certain point in time, getting some shine. I mean, when you think about what Zack Snyder has done, the amount of first in this movie, it's just crazy. And so for all of this to be overshadowed by gossip and pettiness, it's just so stupid. It's like all these people did all this work on this movie, and all you nitpicky, idiotic people could see is this narrow-minded thing. Oh, Whedon spoiled this movie here. Whedon. And it's like little moments. Like, God damn. The movie is so much more than those little moments. That's what gets me. I'm like, and lots of people enjoyed the movie. So why are you so salty about that? Like, if you enjoyed the movie, now you can say, well, look, man, I just want to see what Zack Snyder would have done all the way to the end. I enjoyed this movie. It was good, but I want to see more. That is much more positive. And that would have definitely pushed Warner Brothers in a certain direction. Because if you had given them your power, and then you said, but these are certain things that I just thought were lacking and were short. Being constructive in what you're doing. But now, shit's in the breeze. I mean, what's Warner Brothers supposed to do? They can't honor you because they don't have the money to honor you. They just broke even on this movie. Broke even. And they thought they had the best possible combination for you. And there's always room for improvement. But I mean, given the circumstances, they did the best they could. And they're trying to get bigger demographics. So I find it very cruel. I find it ungrateful. I find it callous. And I find it disgusting that the director the guy who had to take on the directorial position to finish off a movie is being blasted to Thy Kingdom Come. If it was Zack Snyder and he was being blasted to Thy Kingdom Come, you guys would have defended him. But just because his name is Joss Whedon, you guys are attacking him. That's not right. It's not right. It's not right. I'm not even a Joss Whedon fan. It's not right what you guys are doing. Tearing down, trying to destroy Joss Whedon's name and legacy because you feel he did not match up to Zack Snyder. And all the things that you guys are saying, if you just had a level head and you reasoned out what you were doing, you would realize you were very wrong in what you're doing. This is atrocious. It's wrong. It's criminally wrong. And you will pay for it. You will pay for it. You will pay for it. Because I'm a part of the DCEU community. I'm a real DCEU fan. I know John King says you mustn't call yourself a real I'm calling myself that because you guys are traitors. You're traitors. And this isn't really about loyalty because, quite frankly, I'm not going to be loyal to DC if they're putting out crap, as far as I'm concerned. But this movie wasn't. This movie was far be it from crap. Far be it from crap. Okay? And the vitriol and the hate from people within the camp as the scripture was saying, y'all gonna pay for that. Y'all gonna pay for that. Y'all gonna pay for that. Trust me, it gonna come to roost. And what hurts me the most is this is a Zack Snyder film. Another Zack Snyder film has to go down this road. Another Zack Snyder film. Y'all couldn't honor Zack by giving him a chance. Y'all had to. This is 85 to 95% Zack Snyder's film. This ain't a Joss Whedon film. This is not a Joss Whedon film. Y'all just trashed a film that's a Zack Snyder film. Zack did most of the work of this film, and y'all rejected him. Y'all rejected Zack. That's what hurts me the most. Because now the detractors got a one-up on Zack. They got a one-up on Zack. They got him finally. Thanks to you guys. Y'all gonna pay for this. Y'all gonna pay for this. That is just evil and nasty. Y'all gonna pay for this. You don't do evil acts and get away scotch-free. You always pay for it. And you're going to pay for this. I told you I'm taking out my belt. I'm a beat. Because the difference between me and other people is I'm not afraid to say what I got to say and fight for what I think is right. And what you guys did was wrong. I don't care if King Kong come out of the bush and agree with you guys. What I mean by that is it don't matter how popular and who named person come behind that. What you guys did was wrong. Wrong. Now, when they tried to shove Ghostbusters down everybody's throat, I was with everybody when I said that movie was a bunch of crap, and I found it was wrong what they were doing, because they were trying to bully people, saying if you disagree about Ghostbusters, they tried to bully people and saying if you disagree that Ghostbusters was a bad film, then you need to be banished and stuff, and they attacked people, and you guys responded, and that was right. So in that case, when you guys did not want to go see Ghostbusters, which you did not miss anything special, okay? Sorry to the actors and stuff, but you didn't miss nothing special. They actually bullied you, saying, oh, well, you have to watch this film otherwise, and say it's good, right? Now, in the case of this, nobody's bullying you. Even Warner Bros. Right now, they're quiet. They pulled away from it, and it was like, all right, cool. And they pulled away from the scene. But I stand up. I'm not trying to be in a popularity contest. And when it's right, you have to say when it's right. And when it's wrong, you have to say that it's wrong. And you guys are wrong. You are wrong. And the critics are wrong about this movie as well. And I ain't trying to be no fanboy. This ain't about fanboyism either. I'm just saying, because the DCEU community, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up. Like I said, I'm batting for this movie, and I'm batting for this never to happen again. It's not supposed to happen again in the DCU community. Nobody can shut me up. No matter how much you wicked people out there, and there's some wicked ones of you, I exposed some of y'all, and y'all kicked me out of the group. I remember that. Put some people on blast, and it wasn't because I was cursing them out this time. It was because I put them on blast. Because they realized when I started dropping bomb after bomb, when I started dropping truth and facts on them, they realized they couldn't handle that. One person in my own group on Facebook, one person tried to spam my stuff. They tried to charge me with spam. I see how nasty and evil and wicked people can be. But see, I'm the administrator of my group. So when the person tried to do that, and they tried to sabotage another member of my group, when they tried to sabotage us because they realized that we telling truth, and they realizing they getting exposed. When they tried to sabotage us, we knew what to do, and I told my friend what to do. I told him what to do so that his voice would not be silenced, because you can't silence us, because we gonna bring the truth. Understand, it's coming, and there's more coming. We're not going to stop. And you can come with rumor after rumor. You could come with lie after lie. Those things don't stand the test of time. Lies never stand the test of time. Truth does. And we coming. We coming. Like Steppenwolf said, yes, run. I'm out of here.